3. Hello and welcome. It is just past 6 o'clock and we are now live. Hey there, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative. Hopefully all of the technology is working. As you can tell, we've got a number of faces tonight, all of which are perhaps recognisable. We've got obviously, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So in no particular order, well, it is actually a particular order. I'm not rolling dice to randomising. We'll go around clockwise, which is starting off with Kristian at the top.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kristian. Some of you may already know me, but just in case you don't, I've been a long-time collaborator with Andy, and I've been in Andy's games for probably about 10 years now. Probably longer than that, actually. 2011 was when I first went into the shop. So, yeah, that's me.
It's truly amazing, isn't it? You just the wonders of role-playing. And as we tick that clock down, it goes to Jocelyn.
So, hi, I'm Jocelyn. I've been playing for about a quarter the time Kristian has, although I wish I'd been playing for much, much longer.
I'd like to point out this, you're much, much, much younger than Kristian, so that makes perfect sense. You know, I mean, that's maths. That's how maths work. Anyway, carry on.
Lying and flattery. Yeah, I play in an insane number of games, mostly D&D, but not entirely. And yeah, last night was one of the not entirelys that I think we're going to be talking about tonight.
Lovely, lovely. Yes, it's one of the reasons why we've got Jocelyn and Michael here. Please, Michael, say a few words.
Hello. So going in units of Kristian, I've been gaming with Andy for half a Kristian. Now an official unit of measurement, your lifetime achievement. And I tend to spend Thursdays and Fridays with Andy doing various bits and pieces in various worlds of his imagining.
Well, collaboration, it's our hive mind of madness. So a fair amount to get through tonight. It is Monday night. Well, it is Monday night, isn't it? Because I have been told I get days and dates wrong quite a lot. And we're going to do the usual thing. We're going to chat about this week's games first and foremost coming up. Do some name checks that I always like to do for our community, and I genuinely really appreciate their support in allowing us to be able to do this, because without you guys in chat, our Discord community, and the faces that you see on the screen, none of this would be happening. It would, but I'd probably be divorced in like some hole in the ground trying to stream from there. Technically, you all are my bosses. You pay my wages. Oh dear, that's transferred power to them. That is
time for your performance review.
Yes,
and it's not good.
Oh dear,
it's not good.
Okay, well, I'll edit that out. Everybody forget that. I'll edit that out. So I do like to do name checks and shout outs first on a Monday. It's just a nice thing to do. And we start off tomorrow, and tomorrow's Tuesday, and we're almost in March, because at Twisted Narrative, starting in March, just before March, we're going to start doing a lot of actual plays streamed. The first one is going to be tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and well, I'm not running it. I'm not GMing. We have this fine fellow over here, Kristian, running it.
Yes, I will be running Blades in the Dark. I'll be running One Last Score, a adventure of sorts in Blades of the Dark. There are no real adventures, only lovely crimes. And we'll see what our scoundrels are going to be up to tomorrow night. I'm really excited. In that, we have Andy is playing. That's amazing. We have Rachel, we have Sarah, and we have Matt. So it's going to be a really good one, I think. I've had a quick chat with everyone about their characters already, got a good idea of what they're playing, and I've got some lovely crimes for them to do. So it depends what they pick up. But yeah, we'll have to. There's a little twist in there somewhere, so you'll have to watch out for that one.
I'm super to use younger people's words, stoked. And by younger people, that is probably well out of date now, and I am really showing my age. But I am very, very excited for it. And as you say, we've got Rachel, we've got Sarah, we've got Matt, we've got myself. Kristian is Master of Ceremonies. It's going to start at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, if I can make technology work, it's going to be live streamed straight into your eyeballs. If you are watching YouTube, obviously, if you're not watching YouTube, we haven't got that technology yet. So make sure you're watching so we can get it into your brain. Then Wednesday we go to the normal sort of ticketed games, and we've got a 5 edition game, Fortunes Untold. That has got Roz, Felicity, James, and Adrian in. Super good fun. I've very much described these games over and over and over again, so I'm just doing shout outs. Really, we'll cover it. You know what happened during the week. Then that moves us through to Thursday, and Thursday is icebreakers. We have James, Joe, and Jack. That is quad J's. We've also got Sarah, we've got Emma, and we've got good Michael here. Do you want to say anything about icebreakers at the moment, or?
Oh God, we're going to die.
Yes,
That sums it.
Joe's character, an individual called Kellen, seems to, unbeknownst to him, the leader of a revolution that is going down, and they have just entered the thick of it, and it's going to be a blast. I'm very much excited for it. And then we move to Friday. Friday is a great game. I've spoken to it over and over again. It's 5th edition. It's high level, 18th level. We've got Ben, we've got Stuart, we've got Richard, we've got V, we've got Charlotte, we've got Ryan, and we've got Michael again. You've kind of you got out of that fight. Well, you wasn't even in it last session, was you?
No, I let the mammals go off and do their thing, and it's best. They had lots
When you
of
say
testosterone.
mammals,
Yes, mammals. Off they go. I'll stay and have a nice warm, hot bath.
An interesting character, a very interesting ancestry, but it's a very. I mean, the game has been lasting for a very long time. It's one of the few games that we do that is weekly. Very much enjoying that. And then we move to Saturday, full day on Saturday for me. We've got Cursor Strad first, and they are definitely getting towards the end game now. And there is Pete, and there's Josh, and there's Ian, there's Ryan, and there's Matt. Don't really want to say much more than that. It is very much the end game, and it'll be interesting to see whether they can bring an end to the great vampire lord Colin. More on that in a moment. Then we've got Tomb of Annihilation. We've got Casper, Marcus, Dave, and Ben and Gordon. Again, they are coming into the end game. These games have been going on for years now, and they're coming to the completion of the written campaign book, and it's very exciting to see. Another Critical Role game after that, the Diplomates. We've got Ben and Ben, we've got Charlotte, we've got Doug, we've got Mal and Nathan in that, and they are very much in the same sort of timeline as the Icebreakers, so no spoilers there. And then very much looking forward to Saturday night. It's my fortnightly Call of Cthulhu game, and we're doing masks of, and Kristian will finish it off for me.
Nyarlathotep.
Yes. And we've got James and George and Ian in that, and things are just getting interesting as they have found the murder of their very one of their closest friends who was investigating something, and they are pulling all the strands together to try and work out what on earth is going on. Then we move to Sunday, and Sunday we've got a tier 1 mythical game, so this is kind of levels 1 to 5. It's a one shot. We've got Marcus and Anand on there at the moment. There are a few spaces left if anybody is interested in playing a mythical character. It's 5th edition, and it's a very high fantasy sort of setting. And then last but not least, you've heard so much about this game, but it is our Eberron game, and that is Rachel, Jenny, Jocelyn, Kristian and Tony, and maybe, if we keep our fingers crossed,
hopefully
the return of Becca, who's been
as
very
Finn.
busy as Finn, yeah. So I don't know whether Kristian or Jocelyn, you want to say anything about your Eberron game. I know we've covered it an awful lot, but if you've got any thoughts, go for it.
I'm just glad that we don't have any more interactions with Stiltskin Ribbons for the foreseeable future. Hopefully we never see him again.
I'm just glad that I'm in this game. I mean, it's just so much fun. Everything is just twisting and turning and crazy, and and Andy will like let you do whatever you want to do, and then throw all kinds of crazy stuff at you that you never saw coming. It is just fabulous.
Yeah, no, I enjoy all the games, but it is a particular role play sort of orientated one. So, and those are the ones that I think I'll get more pleasure out of personally, not because of the style of play or because of the players. It's fairly just mechanical to do combat encounters, especially with the 5th edition. But when you throw an idea out to the players and they sort of embrace it and roll with it and expand it, it's a joy to watch, basically. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that. But just a little shout out to everybody who is in the games this week and what we've got basically on. I was going to do something this Sunday night again, but I'm not. It's basically my daughter's birthday weekend coming up, and I've decided to take Sunday night off, and we're going to have some good family time doing stuff together. So we are going to talk about what we did this Sunday in a moment, and who knows, we might see it expand out into other Sundays as well, but not this Sunday. I'm just going to say a quick hello to all of our fantastic people in chat. We've got a Leprechaun and Kyle. We've obviously got Michael and Kristian as well. We've got Skill Gannon. We've got Matt. We've got Elsa. We've got Brooks as well. So thank you very much for all your comments in chat. I was going to say nice comments in chat, but I can kind of read some of them. Fantastic. So last night.
What happened last night, Andy?
Last night, as I said, I came up with this idea called Imp-Rov, and as I said at the start of the stream, it just occurred to me that Imp-Rov was made up of the word imp, and that was the basis of fundamentally the seed. I like to think of a seed of an idea that I came along and planted, sort of watered, and everybody else carried that very tenuous idea and made it much better than it perhaps was in my mind. It was very much a play test, not necessarily of the system, but of a concept that I've been throwing around quite a lot. people who remember me sort of just nattering away on stream, maybe a year or even so ago, was talking about wanting to do some kind of improv type show. I think I was calling it whose initiative is it anyway, or whose role is it anyway? And
I'm glad you went with improv.
yeah, I mean, I've just role playing a lot of the time is improvisation. I mean that's very much part of it. So I think the two go hand in hand, and um, I kind of really like one shots that are frivolous and kind of more or less sort of throwaway. You enjoy the moment rather than worry too much about either the repercussions or the long-term campaign sort of aspects of it. It's kind of liberating and gives you a lot more sort of freedom to do things. So I've had all of these sort of thoughts going around my head, and it sort of seemed to sort of materialize as this concept improv. Um, I mean, I personally had a great time. I think it could have been better from my point of view. Nothing to do with the players,
What
but
makes you say that, Andy?
it's difficult. I kind of mentioned it earlier, to kind of tell a story in a short space of time, and even more difficult to do it when you're trying to open up scenes that are to be improvised. If you remember, whose line is it anyway? It's like, okay, you will find yourself in a bar and you are this, and this. And from my perspective, I might have done too much talking and should have perhaps let you, the players, have more time to try and I should have perhaps proposed scenes to you for you to do that. There's one reason why I didn't want to do that, because this first one, it was more about getting the concept of the hierarchy of hell and your arrival there and all of that. Um, I'm not like super down about it or disappointed in myself. It's just I like to analyze things. I like to think, oh, how can we make it better? Is it quite what I thought? The great thing is I genuinely had a blast. I loved all of your characters, your players, and your input to it. Um, um, but I personally think I could do better. Not better than you, but do better as setting it as a game or a scene. But this is why I'm welcoming input from everybody here now, and you in chat as well. You're as much as involved in this process as it is. Whether it's going to be an exercise in game design or improv or whatever, or whether it's got a purpose of maybe we'll do another one. I seem to be doing an awful lot of talking again, so I'm going to open it up to you all to give me your thoughts. Raise your hand if you want to go first. There we go. Straight in there. Jocelyn, the floor is yours. And as I say, make some comments in chat as well if you've got any ideas and thoughts. But Jocelyn, please take the floor.
Kristian knows me. Definitely. I've met you, Michael, but Kristian knows me. Yeah, big surprise. So first of all, I had a fantastic time. It was really great. But I can see what you mean about trying to find balances. And especially trying to find balances in a one shot, because there is a beauty to the frivolity of a one shot where the stakes aren't incredibly high. But then if you're going to run that consecutively, then do you end up beating your head against the wall because you're essentially respawning once, again and again and again, and always staying at basically the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I was never like professional or anything, but I was in a tiny, tiny way involved in the Chicago improv scene back in the East.
Like I said, I mean, you're very young, obviously. What,
Yeah, and so I'm actually quite familiar, at least with that style of improv, and I've done quite a bit of it myself. So I was curious to see how much of this was going to be sort of D&D-ish and how much of it was going to be actually stepping over the line into improv.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's okay with you to mention another.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we're all in this together. We're all learning off each other. Yeah, go for it.
I'm not.
There's a podcast that I'm sure a lot of people know about called Sitcom D&D, and their premise is that they have got a D&D game, but instead of the adventurers meeting at the tavern and then going off, the adventurers are the tavern keepers and the people who work there. And it's set up as a sitcom. So you have the same people in the same place every week, but they still, have made it into a D&D style game.
Yeah.
And what struck me more than anything, after listening to a few of these, was like, hang on, you're missing the wood for the trees. What this really is a Chicago style improv game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main thing. And then the sub things are that you're doing sitcom and D&D. And so just for whatever that's worth for you, for anyone else who watched it, was interested, who's listening to this and was interested, I was really fascinated last night by my own thought processes, and then looking at people trying to take cues from Michael and from Jack and from you about, okay, so how much am I going to stay in my game role player gamer sort of role, and how much am I going to step out and do improv? And I think that having us say, oh, look at that basilisk over there, when you haven't imagined a basilisk, is a very improv-y thing to do. So okay, so I'm going to shut up now for a while.
No, it's brilliant. And if you can, when you get a moment, if you give us a link to that that podcast, we'll put it into the comments below so people can check it out if they want. Like I say, I'm certainly going to give it a look. It's not one that I've heard of, but I'm quite busy. So the problem I have is I live in my own echo chamber, not deliberately, but I'm so busy trying to do things that I don't have time to look beyond that, which is a terrible thing to do. So it's quite nice to have pointers like that. Absolutely. I've got some sort of questions to sort of ask or comments to make, but Michael, have you got any thoughts, any comments that you would like to make? Because we know Kristian's opinionated and he'll be saying all sorts of things in a minute, so I'd rather listen to you first.
I thank you, Andrew.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I like the one shots, or even the one shots that go on to be a number of sessions. I like the Demontelu stuff we did.
Absolutely, that was beautiful.
Even though that was more D&D, obviously, I think the least important thing anyone cared about was the stats.
Mm-hmm.
People just wanted to get together with that family and chat and marry people off or not marry people off, or be passive aggressive at a lethal level. And I think that's the great thing when you do have a one shot, you're not worried about the character. I mean, I am pleased and thank you to both Jack and Jocelyn for brutally backstabbing. That was entirely what my character was about. He was supposed to be as dim as cheese and not even notice when people were setting him up. And I genuinely thought, I am going to die. He's going to hit me with that. No spoilers, but and then stuff happened, and it was that's what he's there for. He is that character in that story. One who and it was great to play with other people who've got slightly different ones, but they were playing off really well. Because it wasn't a to win thing; it was to let's make a good story, and I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. No, very, very good. And I guess we better ask Kristian what you thought. Be harsh. Yeah. Give us proper critique.
I can give you a proper critique. I can give it because I was told years ago feedback is a gift, and this is a wonderful gift I'm about to give you.
Thank you.
No, so I'll go over what I liked
Yeah.
What I didn't like, but what I'd like to see more of.
Yeah.
I liked the characters. I liked the setting. I liked the world. I liked the system. I felt the system came across really well. And I laughed out loud with the 100 million credit coin thing. I laughed. And I want to say thank you to Michael for that. That
It was beautiful.
amazing.
It was indeed.
But so that, I mean, I really like the setting. I really like the imps. What I didn't like, and it's, I think actually, Skill Gannon's just sort of hinted on it, and that's probably the external influence on the improv, and actually a bit more improv. I did like I think I felt that there could have been more.
Yeah.
And that's again not too. I guess I really enjoyed watching it, but I went into improv expecting sort of more of I think it would have been good to have seen it go into any direction, literally any direction, and it went to a certain place, Colin's Castle. He's the one that makes the cake, and then, but it would be. I think again, it's very difficult to do because it involves basically a lot of the adventure really could go anywhere, and in a one shot that could, when you're time limited, that can be dangerous, because it's a bit like You Awaken in a Strange Place. That's a similar system where the DM doesn't know what the setting's going to be, doesn't know what the genre is going to be, doesn't know what anything's going to be ahead of time. But what I'd like to see more of is a bit more of that improvisation stuff, because I really enjoyed the playoff between everyone, and I enjoyed the adventure. I really enjoyed the adventure. I enjoyed the sort of the base bit where everyone's kind of doing their impy job and then going off to do something. And I'd like to see kind of more of that, going off to something that's going to throw you off as well, Andy. Because I like to see, I like to see DMs improvising. I like to see DMs having something thrown at them from a very selfish point of view, because as a DM, it happens to me all the time. So I'd like to see, things that you're not expected, and see that look on your face.
Yeah. No, I mean, good points. Very, very well made. And pretty much kind of what I was thinking as well. But obviously, you have to start somewhere, and kind of the intention of this, which is why I retitled it as kind of playtest, is I wanted to get across the structure of hell and the way that it works and how officious it is, and I wanted to then kind of show you very rapidly that once you became a red imp, the red level, you are then cast out into the multiverse to do these crazy, impossible tasks, to kind of set the scene for other ones. So sort of moving forward, as the way I envisaged it is we've done that very kindly with Dret, Jack, Jocelyn, and Michael. Now we've established what improv is about, and then like the next one, we can perhaps randomly roll the horns and the mutations, and you can have your characters ready, and then you arrive, you get your briefing, and it is open then to the improv of, oh well, yeah, we are going somewhere in the multiverse. So this was almost like a session zero, I suppose, rather than a play test of trying to get it out there into the zeitgeist of what it's about. And obviously, whilst I would love Michael, Jocelyn, and Jack to come back, with it being one shots, it's very much open to other people that have now seen what we've done with this, to go, oh yeah, I can handle that. I can jump in. So don't get me wrong. There is no there's an infinite amount of imps in in the hells, so it's not going to be an issue to have different faces at different times taking part of this as we build a bigger sort of strangeness to it all.
I think one thing that might, again, it's just an idea, but
Yeah.
one thing that might be fun for future ones. Again, I think you're right. It was very much a session zero, and it did seem to set the scene and set this is what the world is. And I'm really excited to see more adventures in that world, wherever that goes.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun for each of the players to bring to be asked an element. And it's like you pick the setting, you pick the bad guy, you pick the and then suddenly everyone comes together, and it's only when everyone comes together you suddenly realize what's going on.
I mean, this is why I wanted to somehow involve chat as well, to sort of give that a go. I mean, one of the big difficulties with it is go for it, Jocelyn. No, please.
Co-stepping as always. No, I just wanted to bounce off of what you and Kristian were saying just now, because in my mind, the way that the two things might meld, like in specific terms, might be, like you were saying, to have us come already with, me and my toxic farts and my horns all over my body, and then my character that I had set up, and I'm ready to go. But then you, Andy, as the DM, you just say, okay, so you're going out, and here's your quest, and here's what you're supposed to do, and then chat says something and you, Andy, say, aha, I can throw this at them. And so rather than sort of D&D, I'm setting this whole scene, I'm talking for 5 minutes, and now you go off, and then I come in and I give a whole nother big thing. If you or the DM, a GM, were to sort of pepper in little bits, oh, now you see this, oh, now there's that, for us to bounce off of, I think that would give it more of a feel of improv, even though that's not necessarily how it's usually done. And I think that would maybe get us more in the direction of what you were talking about, Kristian.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Now, there's a couple of very good comments in chat. We'll come to Elsa first. Is improv a name pun, or are you trying to do more improv than tabletop role-playing games? What do you consider those differences to be? I mean, that is that's a big question. The first part is easy. Improv is a pun name, deliberately, but the concept was to try and involve more improv into it as well. So it's a play on both. In terms of what we consider differences to be, I think that is perhaps a bigger subject for another 6 o'clock club. Skill is perfectly right. Ever a critic, and I will be having private words with him later. But he did say that he would like chat to be more involved, and absolutely 100% that was a failure on my part on last night's session, for a number of reasons. It was a bit of a play test, and for me to monitor chat and monitor everything else, I am going to have to get a little bit of a different setup here. I need to get a second screen so I can monitor chat and do it. I don't think that it's going to be as much a problem next time, because I felt I wanted to establish the setting and the world, so there was a lot of me having to basically look at my notes, refer to the script, make sure that things were being explained. And it's quite a difficult thing to do. Everybody thinks 2 hours is a long time, but 2 hours to basically tell quite a big story and communicate a lot of information across isn't particularly that long to do. But we've now got that on video on demand, and it's a good reference document for us to build on. But genuinely, I want want chat to be involved as well. Exactly how that works is a difficult one, and we've got 10 minutes, and I wouldn't mind ideas with that as well. A lot of channels tend to do either super chats or donations so that their idea gets chosen. I'm not opposed to monetizing it. I'm sounding very much like Wizards of the Coast now. But I would only see that as a potential idea if we were getting overwhelmed with ideas, because if chat is being flooded with things, one, it's difficult to decide which one to use, and secondly, you might not be able to read everything that is going on when you're trying to monitor everything else. So
there's a delay as well. I think that's kind of a big thing to point out, that when we are sitting here and we are 30 seconds in the past or 30 seconds ahead of you, whichever way around it is.
That makes Captain Dove feel so
yeah
good.
And we just but we don't, when we've said something and then we see the comments in the chat, it is after well after the fact, well after we've said something. So to kind of stop everything for chat comments, it would have to be done the right way. But I mean, I think I like the idea of people firing things in. Sorry, Michael, you go. Sorry, did you have anything to say, or
were you just telling him?
No, I did. I was just going to say, I'm going for please. I'm getting a message in the chat. Kristian, shut up. No. It was with that in mind, because I absolutely agree, Kristian. The issue is sort of spontaneity of it. Something I've seen in sort of other games is things like you would come up with a request at the start, or maybe 20 minutes ahead of, okay, chat, I need for you to suggest some fruit. So I'm going to use it for will become apparent. And then while some of the players are like bouncing off each other, you get that chance to have a look down and decide. And you're giving yourself a bit of a break to be able to go, how am I going to incorporate this? It's going to be a monster. It's going to look like fruit, but you can then sort of decide, you know what I mean? What the encounter's for, but what you get is still randomized. What you get is still whatever they come up with, and they get to see it part and parcel of that without you having to go, oh, hose pipe. Right, no idea how I'm going to incorporate that at that point. And it just sort of gives you that bit of a break that if you can plan ahead a bit,
so
that might work.
Maybe if we are going to do another one or more of these, I'll open up an Imp-Rov channel in our Discord. If you're not already in our Discord community, go there. Then we can shout out for some initial pre-show suggestions in there, and then, as you say, we can maybe at the start of the stream ask for another one that will come apparent during the stream as well. Something like that. I mean, that's very good. All very good points. Very well made. I mean, a couple of ones that I've seen other people use are obviously just allowing someone to have re-rolls, which I don't know whether that is particularly needed in this, because my system is so benevolent. It's designed for you to succeed, and very rarely will you fail unless you get very unlucky, and then that just is actually quite entertaining in itself as well.
So Andy, if you're looking at chat and someone has a suggestion, and in the course of play, like half hour into it, you go, oh yeah, I could throw them this red herring, or you throw them in that direction, then cherry pick based on what you are wanting as a GM, based on what's developing. So that would also spread out the requests.
And long term, as this grows and everybody grows with their confidence and kind of with the knowledge of their character and the world setting as well. Don't get me wrong, I would love just to sit here watching you lot and me occasionally going raspberry, moist, Trump, just throwing kind of words in, for you to act. I mean, that's my dream, really. My dream.
Your dream is raspberry moist Trump.
But Andy, You do that on Fridays already, Andy.
No, I do. Friday night. No, perfect. Well, we're coming to the end of tonight's club. Any final thoughts or sort of comments before we say goodbye to everybody?
Just that I want to play it again.
All right. Okay. Well, if we can get enough interest, and all it takes is 3 to 4 players, as I say, I'm more than happy to do this. Sunday nights are good for me, and I kind of like the 2-hour sort of slot rather than the. Don't get me wrong, I'm very much looking forward to Blades in the Dark 3-hour role play, but I think for an improv-esque kind of show, sort of 2 hours will nail it, because it's if you are improvising, it can be quite a tiring experience for you as I'm going to use this word, a performer, because that is exactly what you are, you know. So as I say, we can't really do it this coming Sunday because family. I'm very much looking forward to celebrating my youngest's birthday. But maybe we'll look at it for the Sunday after, so that is in 2 weeks' time. If we can get other people to join in, or the same people, or whatever, it is very much one of these things that we need people that want to play in this style of game. Otherwise, obviously, it's not going to happen. So my final thoughts, because we are beginning to sort of run out of time, is to say a very, very big thank you to Michael, Jocelyn and Jack, who literally had no real idea other than that single line of what they were letting themselves in for. A big leap of faith, and without you we wouldn't even be having this conversation now, so thank you very much for that. We will talk in Discord, and perhaps we will build on what we've already done. So without further ado, I want to say a big thank you to everybody in chat, everybody that's watching on demand, and a big thank you to everybody that's joined me tonight, Kristian, Jocelyn and Michael. We will be back again tomorrow, 6 o'clock club. We will be discussing Blades in the Dark. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Kristian will be running at Blades in the Dark. And you'll see me as a player for, I think, the first time. I think Kristian's probably the only person. Rachel has as well, obviously, because Rachel's in the same game, actually playing, and I am truly terrified. I have no idea what it's going to be like. But if you all want to sort of say goodbyes and wave, I'm going to call up a Blades in the Dark preview to be an outro, basically. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, crew, club. And here is the Blades in the Dark preview. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Please come and join us. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll catch you tomorrow.